I'm Kris Pursiainen alongside Zach Noble, and this is All Things NBA from A to Z. Welcome in to our newest episode. How are you? I hope you're good. I hope everyone is doing all right as we transition from summer to fall here in New York City. It is hot. It is really hot right now. I have a guy coming later today for the AC because, classic New York City story, right? But listen, man, I like to work out a little in the apartment. I can't make it more than 10 minutes of some goblet squats without like dripping sweat. Like it is hot, dude. So we've got like a heat wave out here. Zach, how are you doing? How's the weather by you? I should ask, because I'll be jealous. What you got going on?
Bro, I wish I was as hot as you. It's cooled down here. Like winter's coming quick. We're skipping fall. I mean, we went from upper 90s, 100 last week down to low 70s, 60s. I feel like it's just gonna screw us again. Another Minnesota downfall, short summers, long winters. But I am getting out of work. I'm gonna go play some golf on this beautiful day. It is a perfect golf day. A top 10 golf day, I'd say. So I'm pretty jacked up about that. Chiefs lost. I was bummed about that. Then followed up with the USA loss, bummed about that, but it's all good. It's beautiful. And
Yeah,
I'm talking
man.
hoops with you, my man.
Nice out for you. You'll take it. I'm indeed jealous, as easily predicted. That game was fun last night, Chiefs Lions. I had no dog in the fight. I just wanted some
I won
certain
money.
I wanted some certain yardages to happen. I'll leave it that way. But basically, I had a good week overall. This was my first pretty well, except for Monday, like full week of class, so
You're back.
I had all my classes now. I know what they're all like. I know what my off days are, my on days. I got 3 classes on Mondays. And we'll see how this all goes, but I'm excited. Started the semester, always a fun time. Also a fun time right now because the FIBA semifinal games, as you mentioned, were earlier this morning. I want to get into talking about these games, what happened and why. Let's start out with Serbia and Canada because we'll leave the US for the second part of the discussion, as it's this country's team, the one we're both in. Serbia and Canada played. Serbia won by 9 points, 95-86. A little, low scoring game, defensive, but I want to say it surprised me. I do. I expected Canada to win. They had the talent, but it's weird that I'm saying had, right? Like Canada had the talent, and I loved Olynyk as their big. I thought he did a lot of good things for them this summer and this fall, but I want to point right to the rebounds, Zach. Serbia with 33, Canada with 22. And a lot of that was defensively. They were only a 3 differential in offensive rebounds. I think it's like 7 to 10, but 11 more rebounds for Serbia. That's the game, right?
Yeah, man. I didn't watch it, so I'll just be honest there. I watched all of the USA game, but I was shocked when I woke up and saw Canada losing by 10. I had Canada winning that game. Luckily, I didn't wake up to put money on it, so that made me feel a little better. But Bogdan, man, he's rolling, and all you need is one guy that can go off in these games and play team basketball, and that's what Serbia's been, and that's what makes them fun. They've played together for many years, and the chemistry is way better than a team like USA or Canada yet. So that's how you win games in this tournament. I mean, it's a pretty simple formula: is if you just put everybody together for a long period of time and you grow together. And then you have a guy that can be a star in that mix to win an extra round or two versus the teams that make it into the final 16 or whatnot.
Yeah, Bogdanovic was one of the performances I wanted to highlight. 23 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 of 12 from the floor. Like he was surgical this morning. He did what he does. And the other one was Nikola Minutinov, because the double-doubles, 16 and 10 rebounds, was great, but he's doing this like Mitchell Robinson like efficiency thing in this tournament. That's really impressive to me. He went 6 of 6 from the floor today. Cool stuff. That brought him to 71.2% from
Whoa.
2-point range in the World Cup. So 71% from 2-point range. That's why I say Mitch Robinson, because we know he now is that record holder, right? But wow. Like they're playing really effective basketball. Also, you want to talk some NBA stuff, like some good minutes for Nikola Jovic, played 18 minutes, 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, but like that's good experience for him. Learn how to be part of a winning team and a successful, big world stage winning team. I thought it was interesting. Petrosev only played 10 minutes. He had a huge game for them like 3 days ago off the bench, was one of the top performers of the whole round, and then played 10 minutes this game. So obviously not, the matchup, not how the rotation shook out, but I just thought, hey, that was odd. You want to look at Canada's end of things, not too exciting. Like people can look at the stat sheet and say, oh, RJ Barrett, 23 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Like he did stuff, leading scorer for the team, but I was not impressed by any of the defense that I saw from him consistently. Like I think he has shown defensive flashes in this tournament. And he's been good on that end with his assignments in general, but not good enough this time. Like I just didn't love it. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 9 assists, 15 points. Love it. You'd love him stepping back a little bit and sharing the rock. But they didn't win the game. So maybe they are better off when he goes and just creates advantages and chases buckets, because it's not like he was abhorrent efficiency wise where it's like, oh, he should not shoot anymore at all. I just think, the 9 assists kind of speaks for itself there. Didn't really love this from Canada. Brooks, Powell, Olynyk, all guys that like you look at the stat sheet at the end of the game and you're like, okay, they were fine. Brooks, really good defender. Yeah, I think he wants his respect for that. I think he
Hate how people
deserves.
are just turning the narrative and wanting to be, oh, I'm fully on board with the Dylan Brooks
Yeah,
contract because he's a dog in FIBA games. Like, let's not overreact just yet. Let's see how he
I
fits in Houston. But
I thought he deserved like 16 a year
yeah,
this offseason.
that's right.
So for him to get 20 from a team that's young and needs to overpay to get
For
free
four
agents,
years.
that's fine with me. And I think that's, what the Knicks did early on. They signed Randall, they signed all those vets, Burks, Noel, Walker, Fournier, years of team control. Like I don't mind it, right? You can
I
always
don't
move
think that
deals.
work. We'll argue that Knicks
you
take
can
another
you
time, but I
can
don't think that.
always you can always move those deals in the NBA. And the point is, it then instead of just moving them for nothing, the Knicks took 7 second-round picks, including the one they were fined for tampering, and turned those vets into Jalen Brunson for the same cap. Like they're not over the cap. So no future first-round picks were used, and they accrued those second-round picks by taking on bad contracts and then trading the guys, rehabilitating the value. So Nick's tangent aside here, I just think the point is I don't mind that from Houston. I do think Brooks has been good this summer and fall, I'll say, now that we're getting close to there. I just think that he's not the guy who is going to go step up and like create advantages for you and get you buckets late in the crunch when you have a team with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on it. I think Shai could have been a lot better this tournament. I think he left a lot on the table in regards to both
Damn.
play style and also just I want to say like how he approached the plays. Like it didn't feel like
I mean, it's a
until
lot like
today.
Anthony Edwards a little bit, you know? I mean, it's a learning curve playing with talent this great. Who do you think had better chemistry though, USA or Canada overall as a team? I think it's pretty
Canada,
close.
I I want to say USA.
I'd lean that way, but I think we just were better.
Canada is good, but they also had several offensive sets where I was like, have these guys practiced together before today's game? It wasn't necessarily something that I was like, hey, whoa, this team is gelling, right? Like Canada would turn it on for certain stretches. I think the same for the US. I think uh they could have been better. And you know what? Let's pivot, right? Let's do it. No pun intended. Let's get
One
over.
one last thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Jovic trade value has it boosted a little bit for the Dame's sake?
I don't think it has moved. I don't think it has moved. a lot of teams, I just can't. I think he should be respected as a young player with some potential. I don't
Yeah,
think
I mean,
he
I think
should
it had
be
to a little bit because he
respected.
actually shown on the real game, a game that kind of matters versus
Right.
riding the bench and blowouts in the NBA.
Yeah, I think it's good to know yes, he can be part of an organized team. But if you're someone in a Damian Lillard trade getting ready to move for him in a Damian Lillard trade, you shouldn't be treating him as a centerpiece of the deal as a young
Oh,
prospect.
of course.
And nothing about this tournament should change that for you. Nothing about this tournament should be making you say, oh, well, you know what? My one doubt about him was he couldn't play. If your doubt about him was solved by something you saw in FIBA, then you probably had really dumb doubts about him.
Right.
I'm
And
not
I think
someone who's
that's,
super in on him, but I
I'm
do
not either.
think that if you are super in on him or you're not, it should be because of your evaluations that you're confident in over several games that you've watched of him, especially at a lower level. Like, this tournament should not be, if this tournament is majorly swaying you in any direction, I think you were lost from the start. So that's my take.
I just don't think we've seen him in over a year, like of doing anything valuable. So that's where I kind of like
Yeah.
his stock for me, like definitely went down this year for the Miami Heat than where I originally had it. But like, yeah, I agree. It didn't send it through the roof.
So yeah. Um Agreed there. Let's talk USA, Germany. Two of my favorite teams in this tournament. Probably two of the three teams. If you asked me like at the start, give me three teams who you think can win, I would have said USA, Canada, Germany. So Germany, I think Dennis Schroeder's good. I think he's really good on this kind of stage. And I said that going into this tournament, and he's looked really good. Like, he's been great. Germany 113, USA 111. Andreas Obst, man, he was probably the player of the game for Germany just because of the efficiency he brought to what he did, even though I would argue Schroeder is the player of the game because he created the advantages. 17 points, 2 boards, 9 assists for Dennis Schroeder, and 2 steals in the win. Like, that's my player of the game. But Andreas Obst, 24 points, 6 assists, and he had 2 steals in there as well. 6 of 11 from the field, 4 of 8 from three, 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Yeah, this guy's a great shooter. He's shown it in this tournament, and he showed it this morning. That was a great game from him. Zach, between Obst and Schroeder, are either of those guys your player of the game, or are you looking Franz? You looking Tice?
Dude,
Uh,
you're leaving out Daniel Tice, 21-7. Um, he was gritty. I think he made some of the most valuable plays of the game.
and he
I
went 10
loved
of
what
he
I
went 10 of 15 from the floor.
right. I thought they were super efficient. I don't know the percentages. It just seemed super efficient as a team across the board. But to me, I feel like he made the most valuable plays. But you could argue any one of those guys. It's interesting because you think about putting Orst or Tice on Team USA, and do they do that for us? I highly doubt it. It's I don't know. What do you think in regards to that? Because I feel like they're playing with their heart and soul. They have playing with guys that they know where they're going to be at all times. That whole thing. Like Schroeder's been playing with these guys forever. That's why he can be a star, and he knows who they need him to be too.
Right. Well, Franz hasn't, and he had 22 points, 5 boards, 2 assists. He was great. And he really felt like a connective, even though, 2 assists, whatever, you're not like pointing to it on the stat sheet. He really did feel like a nice connective piece for
Yeah.
them today. I feel like everyone kind of feels connective for them, except for Schroeder, who very much to me feels like and looks like the initiator. So that's why I really do credit him and his touches. I'm going to shout out Johannes Voigtman. 6 points, 7 boards, 5 assists. That is such a crispy stamped center type of game. That is an Isaiah Hartenstein ass game. That is a Nas Reed ass game. That is the type of game that my type of guy has. So it was really fun to watch him move the ball. I thought just those short roll looks, and it was really easy for him. Um Zach, I want to start with you here. What happened to Team USA today?
I'll tell you, I mean, I loved the second quarter. I feel like we were taking it back at the end of it and had a huge push there. Just looked like he was going to keep taking over the game. Austin Reeves got more involved then and then started the third quarter as well. But I don't know, man. I just think they outplayed us. And I honestly, I hate saying it just repeatedly, but I feel like this is what comes down to chemistry. I don't think our chemistry was very good. I think they're just a more connected team than us, and it is what it is. Do I think if we had like Jason Tatum, this changes? Like you put one player, him or Devin Booker? I do, just because of the talent level even more. I don't think we're much far off, but the excuses shouldn't even be there. Like we should have worked these guys. I thought we played good enough at times to play consistently. It's just a bunch of ISO play, and Jaren Jackson Jr. got worked. I mean, he got really exposed. That was the biggest eye opener for me. I mean, it comes down to ball movement and their bigs dominating our bigs. There's, I don't know who we can get. I mean, like somebody mentioned Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. I mean, those guys would have fit perfectly with this team. They would have been better than Walker Kessler or Bobby Portis. But we should have had enough to get it done. I don't think there's any excuses. Fire Kerr, bring in Spo. I'm all in.
Man, I do like Kerr as the coach of the team. I also think
Not enough
that
talent for him, man.
I
Not
also
enough talent.
think that Walker Kessler and Jaren Jackson Jr. as the fives was really odd. I would say Jaren Jackson Jr. got exposed as not being a center yet. That's how I would phrase that. I would say he got exposed as not yet being able to play center for extended minutes. Does that mean he's not still an all-star power forward, all defensive player of the year level player? No, it does not. He is still that guy, right? So I don't think he got exposed in regards to, hey, this guy can't play. This guy can't hang in a playoff setting or an international setting. I just don't think he should be playing the five. Now, as for Kessler, like, could Robert Williams have played for Team USA? Is he recovering from injury and didn't want to? Mitchell Robinson is
I don't think
someone
those guys make any difference compared to like we should have played Walker Kessler a
there,
little bit.
but
Paulo even.
Kessler got Paolo was really bad this morning. Kessler got run early and was perceived as not being able to hang. I think Mitchell Robinson, who just took both Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley to town in the NBA playoffs, could have gotten a look as a 7-footer whose job would be see ball, get ball, pass ball, or see ball, get ball, dunk ball. Like, keeping it simple, like his role is on the Knicks, right? I just think that he would have been better than Walker Kessler because he's a better player today than Walker Kessler. That shouldn't shock anyone. I think that he's a top 10 center in the NBA. So, I don't, and that's definitely
That's hot.
I don't think that's hot.
I'll
That's
tell you, I
not
just
hot.
did my rankings here. Where did
That's
I
not
have
hot.
Mitch Robinson?
That's not hot.
Shoot.
I
All
refuse
right,
to.
here I go. I got Mitch Robinson. Uh, I could accept Mitch Robinson probably as high as 14.
Okay, who do you have 10 to 14?
All right, so 10 I had Jared Allen, 11 Wendell
Okay,
Carter.
let's talk about Jared Allen. What has Jared Allen done for you?
I like his defense way more. I mean,
You
I
just saw in the NBA playoffs that he looked like, I mean, he was talking about Mitchell Robinson like he was wilt after the series. He said the lights were too bright for him and that he just couldn't like play his own game. They put
that,
3 bodies on Robinson, and then that's how Hart gets all those backbreaking rebounds. Like, I really think, like, it's when people say Brunson isn't better than Mitchell right now.
so
Okay.
that's a short sample. I mean, yes, it's the most important head-to-head there, sure, but like he played 59 games versus Jared Allen playing the whole season, basically.
That's fair.
That
That's
matters to
something.
me.
Is that
Like
4 spots
games,
matters?
yeah, like 13, like almost 20 games more. He did play 20 games exactly more. And that's when I give players their due for my player rankings. It's always current, and availability is you're nothing if you're not
It's
playing. And
very important.
when you're that close, like I don't think the gap is huge. I don't, but I definitely think way more consistent. Like, yes, his percentages are better, but Jaron Allen has also more attempts. And that's why he scores more
Well, yeah,
points.
he's
Not a,
more involved in the offense.
right.
I think what Robinson does defensively is more valuable than what Allen does defensively. And it of course requires different team building strategy, to have a center that you really just dump off to. Um, and I like Allen's passing too. Like I think Allen is a really nice passer. I just also think he's 6'9", and that like when it came to the NBA playoffs, it wasn't close. And if it were close, I would be like, okay, so maybe we should talk about them as similar and no one's like clearly
Allen's
better.
not 6'9", dude. 6'11".
Okay. He plays like he is 6'8". So I can't like
That's he made
he
an all-star game, man. And his team, I mean, number one defensive rating in the league last year. That's got to
yeah,
stand for something.
ESPN has 6'9" as his height. So
What the hell? Basketball
that's
Reference 6'11".
Draft Express has 6'10", Real GM 6'9", Stat
I've
Muse.
never seen six. Probably because he shaved his afro down.
The Athletic has 6'9".
They probably cut. Wow, that's groundbreaking news to me.
So Robinson is 7 foot and unquestionably, and I think that he's like at least as good as Allen. So yeah, anyway, that was a tangent from us, but I think it was worth it because these are the kind of conversations like Team USA needs to be having. Like they need to be talking with themselves about how the hell did we choose a starting power forward and a backup center to be our two centers?
Yeah,
What?
either way, one of those guys is better than what
Oh,
we
and I'm
have.
not trying to say Walker isn't a starting center in the NBA. What I'm trying to say is at the FIBA level, he's a backup. So you needed to bring Rob Williams. You needed to bring Mitchell Robinson. You needed to bring somebody who could bang down low and not Jaren Jackson, who got triple out rebounded by Josh Hart. Triple 6-2, three
What about
times.
Wendell Carter Jr., who's a way better passer than all the guys are named?
Wendell Carter Jr. is not a better passer than Rob Williams. Nuh-uh.
I'd put my life on that one.
Oh, it was nice
Kill
knowing you,
me.
dude. It was nice knowing you, dude. It was a good run. Listen, man, Rob Will is a stud passer. I think it's
He's
under
underrated. I'll give you
under
that. But
discussed. I just talked about it with Sam Vicini on draft class for Knicks Film School a couple months back about how Rob Will is like if Lively gets Rob Will comparisons, he needs to really develop in the passing department because that's somewhere that Williams is like excellent. So yeah. Anyway, let's talk about USA's like couple storylines here and there. Edwards 23, 8 and 3 assists, 10 of 17 from the field. You love to see that from him. You don't love to see it in a loss, but Edwards continuing his summer of greatness. Really, he's been great. So I'll call it greatness. I just think that the hype on him being better than Booker or better than some of these guys this season, like I would buy if he were better than Mitchell this season. I would buy if he were legions better than Jalen Green and then Halliburton and guys that like are also talked about as young studs. I don't think he'll be better than Devin Booker this season, which is something that a lot of, Edwards' most fervent supporters are kind of claiming as a narrative to follow. I'm not there. Booker's top 8, top 10 stamped to me, and I'm not there with Edwards. I think Edwards will get into being a stamped top 20 player this season, which is huge and great. I'm not sure that top 10 level is there for him. Zach, what'd you think about? Let's talk to point guards, right? This will be the last thing we talk about. Well, I'll shout out Reeves, 21 and 2, 7 of 10. I'll shout out McCall, 17 points, 3 assists. Zach, talk to me about Brunson, 15 points, 7 assists. Halliburton, 7 points, 8 assists. Halliburton was 2 of 7 from the field. I felt like neither of them were necessarily good today. I think that was a fitting end to the Brunson versus Halliburton debates, is that they were both not great, and that the team came back when Ann Edwards balled up and balled out, but that it wasn't really Halliburton, setting that up for him. It was Edwards just doing his thing. What'd you think about that today? I thought they were both not great.
I just love the line, a fitting end to the Halliburton Brunson debate.
Is that they both stunk? Yeah, how about that?
Well, we both are in agreement that Brunson's better right now. I mean, Halliburton's got a little more ceiling to him. Not saying he'll ever get there, but yeah, Team Brunson. I mean, he's proven in the playoffs. We'll talk when Halliburton gets his team there. As for all the guards overall in this game, it was Reeves and Anthony Edwards. That's about it that I was proud of and impressed with. Everybody else, like, just trying to find their role, trying to just find anything. It felt really awkward to me. Felt like they were forcing things. Wasn't a huge fan. Just they're the heart and soul of the team's chemistry. I mean, the guys that are bringing the ball up, they're the ones that are moving the most. Reeves and Ant were just the ones that were making things happen. The guys that were moving more than anything, that were hands on defense. I mean, they just being the most aggressive. I mean, it's what it comes down to with these guys. I mean, even him tried to force some shots, dribbled way too much at times. And you would think Steve Kerr would be able to get better ball movement with the Splash Brothers and how they've played all these years. But yeah, I wasn't impressed with the team from a coaching standpoint overall. Something's got to give. I think just another run. I mean, they'll get better with time. First time a lot of these guys are playing together.
Yeah, I was gonna say another run would do a lot for them. I think also just like talent upgrades for me. Can we like have Cam Johnson completely replace Bobby Portis? Have we as a society moved past the need for Bobby Portis? Can Robert Williams or Mitchell Robinson be there for Walker Kessler? Could we start Brunson, Halliburton? Oh, defense though. Yikes. Maybe Brunson, Edwards.
Need Bridges.
Yeah, Brunson, Edwards, Bridges. Oh, I want to say Jackson Jr. and Robert Williams, and just give that scoring load to Edwards and to Brunson and to Bridges as the number 3. Right? Like, I think there are different ways to go about this. Off the bench, let's go Halliburton and Reeves, run that back. That was working great. Let's run back Halliburton and Reeves. Let's have Cam Johnson and Paolo, and let's have a Mitchell Robinson or maybe a Wendell back up at center.
What do we shoot from 3? I mean, what were our percentages? I didn't
even Team USA today?
Yeah.
Or over the tournament. Team USA from 3 today was 12 for 25, which is 48%. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Germany was 13 for 30, which is 43%, which is also very good. And yeah, they shot about the same from 2.
We averaged the most points per game in the tournament by almost 6 points. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't we outscore another team today? I think Germany's defense had to be. Where do you think, like, tournament wise, Germany defense stacks up? I think pretty high.
I was gonna say very high. Like,
yeah, I like it.
Maybe 1. So yeah, I do want to talk about the final here and not just the teams that lost, even though they're the 2 most followed in America. Let's talk about Serbia versus Germany. For me, Serbia, it was really big for them to have the rebound advantage that they did today. And I think that for them scoring wise, I'm not sure that they'll hang on the perimeter the way they did against Canada, but like I think that's a team defense thing. I don't think that's a slight at Canada's perimeter defenders. I'm not trying to say Dylan Brooks didn't get the job done. I just think Germany is so well oiled. Um, and they're creative offensively. I think they can get Serbia off kilter, off balance, get them on their toes. And once they do that, they'll be driving by them. They'll be finishing through them in the paint. I think Germany's a tough, very solid all around team. I love Schroeder. I love Tice, and Obst is like that shooter, running around the perimeter. He's been a stud in that role. I'll take guys that are stars in their roles over several stars playing out of role any day. And I think the Team USA roster tried to balance that, but ended up with more guys that are stars than more guys that are stars in their roles. I loved Josh Hart and Halliburton and Reeves being there. But do you need more shooting, like, in general? Is it less about the individual shooters and more about the team shooting? What do you think for Germany, Serbia, Zach?
So honestly, looking over the stats, I mean, it's pretty close, like everywhere. Percentages are like identical, free throws, 3-point everywhere. Rebounding is really the only difference I'm seeing is like Serbia's got a little up on Germany's got averaging 10 versus not much offensive. So not a ton. It's just like couple difference, but really, I mean, it's crazy how identical these teams are. Play style wise, I'd give Germany a little nod. Just I like their bigs better, especially the way they're playing. I don't know. I'd go Germany in this game. I think they're destined. I love what they showed today, and just you would think the team that takes down USA wins it all. For that sole reason. I'm gonna go German.
I would not I think once USA is out, once Canada's out, anything can happen. So I would actually disagree there. But I do think Germany will win it because I think they are the better basketball team. I'm really excited to watch that game. That is going to be a great culmination to what has been a super fun tournament. Obviously, hopefully next year, Team USA has guys like Steph and Booker playing for them, where it's a little different offensively for them. But until we get that final game, that's it for us today. So, Zach, thank you for hopping on this week with me. Al couldn't make this episode. He will obviously be back, though. And I think that I also should wish a happy birthday to Latrell Sprewell, basketball legend, whose B-Day it is today. So, thanks, everyone.
Legend, bro.
Yes, greatest. And Knicks. Thank you guys for tuning in. I thought that was fitting. See? Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back here on All Things NBA from A to Z, keeping you covered with a full court press on all the action around the association. Have a good one, everyone.